Hey Gems, happy Monday. Welcome back. Getting a little bit on the vulnerable side for this week's video. I try to always do that, but have you ever been in that place in life where like you feel like you're just getting hit with the same thing over and over and over again, or the couple of the same things at the same time? And you're like, oh man, why can't this just like be over? Or why can't this problem just like, why can't I just get a new problem? Like, why does it have to be the same one that I keep feeling really stuck and like I can't get out of? And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. And some ways to shift, actually one way, to kind of shift our perception. I can't talk today, perception on that. So let me tell you about the week I was having a couple weeks ago. So this is like the first week of March, and I was like having some issues. Well, I'm still kind of having some issues with my eyeball, so I had to have 2 different doctor's appointments, well 3 different doctor's appointments like in the same week, and they had to dilate my eyes, and on top of that, like all of these things kept happening that were preventing me from accessing the internet and being able to write and work. And so aside from my eye problem, because obviously like when they were dilated I couldn't see anything, aside from that, just like my power went out for like 2 hours, so I couldn't do anything. I was babysitting one night and I had planned to get some work done and their internet wasn't working, and so it was just like one thing after another that week that like it was just like I'm just not meant to be like online. I'm not meant to be like coming up with social media content and stuff like that. And so as the week went on and these kind of things kept on happening, I had been really frustrated the weeks kind of leading up to that, because I felt really stuck in my writing, and I really like there to be an intention and a purpose behind all of the content that I put out there. And I like it to be heartfelt and to be able to make an emotional kind of connection with all of you, because the reason that I share all this stuff is for you. It's not for me. So I try to put it and package it in a way that's going to be impactful and meaningful for you. And I was so stuck. Like I just felt like everything that I came up with was just like blah, or it was like too surfacey, and it wasn't like that kind of really connected content that I really enjoy and that I really that you guys really like too. And so for weeks I'd been struggling. I was having such a writer's block or talker's block or video block. Like I couldn't come up with videos, couldn't come up with topics for them. Like no matter what I did, I would like brainstorm with Sean, and like it would take me forever just to come up with something, and like to post on Instagram. I would go and I would sit there and I would have nothing. And normally I get like spurts of inspiration throughout the day, and I just kind of like jot it down in my notes or in my on my phone. So I'd been struggling with that for weeks, and especially leading up to this week. Not this week, the week that I had all of these things that were kind of preventing me from doing the very thing that I was trying to do. And so as the week went on, I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm just not meant to be on the computer. I'm just gonna have to find some other things to do. And so specifically, the night that my power went off, I was like, what the heck am I going to do with myself? Because so my eyes had been dilated. That was the same night, and it was like right on the tail end of them being dilated that the power went out, and I was like so excited because I was finally going to be able to get some stuff done, and then all of a sudden, nope. And so I was like sitting in the dark, and like I was just kind of like thinking about life and contemplating life and just trying to trying to stop for a moment and just like settle. And like all of a sudden all of this content started pouring into my brain, like one thing after another, and I was like, where is all of this coming from? And then the same thing happened when I was at my friend's house, and she didn't have internet and at the time, and I was like, okay, well I can't do much. And so again, like I started all of these Instagram posts and all of these ideas for blog content started to kind of creep up, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty weird. And looking back, it's not weird, it makes sense. But I think that that week was kind of the universe trying to throw me a lesson. Like, hey, if you just like stop and you put the internet down for a moment, you're gonna come up with more ideas on what to put on it. If you just stopped using all of your extra minutes to scroll through Instagram and instead you stop to actually sit with the thoughts in your head, maybe you'll be able to compile some thoughts that are worth sharing on Instagram. And so I think that oftentimes we're hit with the same problem over and over and over again until that we have learned everything that we're meant to learn from it. And so whatever you're kind of dealing with right now, whatever is sticking with you, whatever issue just keeps to seem hitting you from a variety of different angles, but the same problem at hand, think about switch your mindset from why is this happening to me to something more along the lines of what is this trying to teach me? Because it's easy to get stuck in that space of why is this happening? Like, why does life hate me? Why is the universe just like trying to give me gray hair, or trying to drive me insane? And maybe that's not it. Maybe you're meant to learn a really important lesson right now, a lesson that's going to really help you in whatever is next, whatever is, coming your way. Maybe you need it. You need the skill that the universe is trying to teach you, that life is trying to teach you, and by continuing to neglect it or by doing the same thing that you've always done to try to solve that problem, you're not fully kind of completing the lesson and you're not bringing it full circle, and so you're going to keep getting hit with that. This also happens with me with money. I have such a bad mindset around finances and my ability to make money or not. And so I knew that for a while, but I wasn't really sure what to do about that. I consistently get stuck in this space of, no one's going to want to pay me, or there are all of these people that are doing what I do so much better and so much more vibrantly and so much more with so much more oomph behind it because they have money and resources. And so why should anyone want to invest in me? And those kind of thoughts go through my head pretty frequently, and they used to go through my head a lot more. But I couldn't figure out why I couldn't move forward financially. I couldn't figure out why I kept working my butt off but couldn't make any more money. I kept trying new things, and I kept attempting to try new things, but I didn't really ever fully commit because I was like, well, what's the point? I'm not worthy of bringing this in. I'm not worthy of making this happen. And so for years I've been slammed with that, and I don't think that it was life is out to get me, and it's not that I was making extremely poor financial decisions that I was making a comeback from. I think that it's that life's been trying to teach me you have to make some shifts around this in order for you to have success in this department. You have to believe that it's going to come your way in order for it to actually happen. You have to believe in your ability in order to send a successful pitch email. And so I'm still working on that, but I've kind of, since this concept of what is the universe trying to teach you, or what is life trying to teach you, what's the lesson, since that thought started floating around my head, I've noticed it in a lot more areas of my life, a lot more instances where I feel I keep on dealing with the same thing, and maybe it's because I'm meant to learn something, but I'm not currently open to that lesson. And so think about that. It's really easy to get stuck in what we continue to deal with, what we continue to be thrown, and it's so, I feel every time that the same problem is piled on us, it's we are less and less willing, we have less and less motivation to deal with it, because it's well, whatever I tried last time didn't work. And so I really challenge you to change that. I challenge you to think in terms of, what am I meant to be learning that I'm not right now? And see if that helps you find some different solutions and maybe some better answers, or at least there's power in just being able to find something that you can learn out of a situation rather than letting the situation control you. So if that landed with you today, please let me know below so that I can have a good idea of what really impacts you guys for future videos. And also, I would love to know what you're dealing with right now. What is that one problem? Or maybe there's a couple for me. What are the things right now that you keep getting hit with over and over and over again? You're oh, just throw me a fresh problem. Throw me a fresh thing to deal with. I would love to know what they are if you're willing to share them with me below, or you can feel free to find me on Instagram or whatever, wherever you want. And so I hope that this gives you a little bit of inspiration to flip your thoughts around for maybe the rest of the week, and I will see you next Monday.